Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I have to show you guys this pub I just played. Also, one thing I did want to announce is I'm going to be doing a lot more live analysis on this channel. A lot of you guys have been messaging me on Discord and in the comments that you really like this video, so I will be doing more of those. But this video is going to be about a 9-2-23 Enigma, 31,000 net worth at 47 minutes. If you don't understand what that means, the enemy Luna and the enemy Leshrac, two of the fastest farming heroes in Dota, got out-farmed by an Enigma. How is that possible, you may ask? Well, I'm going to show you a really awesome build that was inspired somewhat by 33, but yeah, it revolves around Enigma's Shard and Octarine core. My first few items are really just for the game. The drums, I'll get into it, I'll get into the piped drums, but then I go Octarine. After that, I went Boots of Bearing, which maybe wasn't the best, and then I went Hex, so no Blink, no BKB, very much a different build. From there, a Blink Dagger. Eventually, I pick up a BKB 47 minutes into the game. I actually missed a couple black holes as well, so we can laugh about that together. And yeah, let's get into this really, this build is so fun to play. It's my favorite build to play. Like, literally in pubs, I'm winning most of my Enigma games too. This one got completely griefed, like utterly griefed. Other than that, win, win, win. Like, and I'm going this, a similar variation of this build every single game. I rarely go Blink BKB. Actually, I'd never go Blink BKB first. Never, never. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the Game Leap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually, you want to become much, much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the Game Leap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. So starting off, it's actually very important that you don't show up to the runes. And by the way, I do want to say one thing. I rush Greaves in like 90% of games. So this build that I'm going is not the standard. I almost always buy Guardian Greaves. However, I just didn't feel like there was anything truly to dispel this game. And I think pipe against Leshrac is too important. Because if you pipe when he bloodstones, it prevents him from healing very much. And I think it's a very hard counter to Leshrac. So I opted for an earlier pipe as a result of the matchups. Also, they're literally all magic damage early. So I think it makes sense. Either way, when it comes to the lane, what you want to do is block one creep ahead and then chill. So immediately you let one creep run ahead. I also started with 1-3 branches. I'm laning against the Luna Ogre. Pretty good amount of spells. If it's not a heavy spam lane, I'll either start Buckler if it's a lot of right click damage, or Headdress if it's a mix of damage. All of these items build into Greaves typically. As I said, I'm not buying Greaves, but you get the point. These are my other starting items. Then I'm going to let one more creep ahead and then sack a melee creep. There are some other variations of this that you can do, but basically what happens is the lane immediately shoves into you. I'm only going to trade a little bit with the Ogre here because I know that the lane is going to shove in. I don't have to worry about any of the last hits because that's just simply how this works, and we end up trading really well here because the Eidolons split. And by the way, this is something I do that's really technical, really advanced. I keep track of how many hits the Eidolons have, and they split after 6. So you can bait heroes like Gyrocopter in, like with their flak, to really commit on the Eidolons, and then split right as they commit. And it's really great for baiting players. Even in that case, it's not a Gyrocopter, but it's really great just for baiting them in. And now the lane is in a fantastic position. I'm going to use the Eidolons to secure some of the back half of the CS, and we're chilling. Eventually, you will have to last hit under tower, which is kind of the hard part. Your hero has a mediocre animation, which with pretty bad damage, but you get the job done. From there, I ship out 2 mangoes. Then, after I ship out 2 mangoes, I ship out tangos and another mango. You might be like, how do you have no regen? How do you get away with this? It's just because the lane pulls back instantly. You don't need the regen, right? The lane is instantly towards your tower, and you're practically, the only reason I traded earlier is because the Ogre was like super out of position, right? And Marcy's pretty aggressive early on as my Marcy gets pressured here. But yeah, at this point, very straightforward in the laning stage. You got to have a little bit of micro, and if they overextend, you can fight with the Eidolons. However, the Eidolons should not be fed early on. They give 20 gold each, which is a ton, and a lot of XP, so you really do not want to feed them, and for the most part, you're not looking to win the early levels. Enigma is actually horrible until he's level 3. The Eidolons go from doing 20 damage to 28, they gain attack range, they gain magic resist, and they gain HP. They become much stronger at level 3. Not completely broken, right? They're not way better, but they're quite a bit better. And so at this point, with the lane back, Luna's horrible against Enigma in lane. It's really just an awful matchup. She cannot kill the Eidolons. And yeah, so I knew this lane was going to be super free when they picked it. From there, with 2 points in Malefice, Malefice is an 180 damage nuke that stuns for 1.8 seconds. It's actually one of the strongest level 2 spells in the game. It just does a ton. And so you'll see as Ogre Magi gets gone on here, it's a pretty tanky hero, right? And he's actually full HP as well, but with 3 Eidolons, Marcy spells, and Malefice, he just straight up dies. And this is what happens once Enigma hits level 3. You don't even need level 4. Level 4 is nice. You definitely don't need it. Once you hit level 3, if you have a kill support in your lane, and the Eidolons are about to split, especially when they're about to split, you can go for kills. And one more final thing before we move on past the laning stage that you can do is if the lane is hard or it's pushed up, you can jungle the large camp. I am level 5 here, and I probably wouldn't try to do this unless I'm at least level 3, optimally level 5, but you can kill the neutral camps very easily. Enigma used to be a jungler back in the day, like really back in the day. People played Enigma almost solely as a jungler, funny enough, and it was quite effective. But yeah, the Luna straight up just jungles. She actually just pulls and jungles. He's like, I can't lane this guy, and frankly, he's correct because he's 18-0 to my 36-27, which is pretty good. This is the best lane I've ever had on Enigma, so this game is definitely the extreme. Don't expect to dominate this hard. You only dominate if neither the support or the core can easily kill Eidolons, and Marcy is very strong in lane, which they had to be threatened by. So eventually we're going to look to pressure the tower. The key is to get 6 Eidolons and then use those Eidolons to take the tower. I considered black holing the Ogre. Like honestly, you can kind of just black hole anyone, but look at the Eidolons, they just shred. You sort of can black hole anyone. Optimally, you black hole a core, the Lesh, you know, the Luna, typically the safe laner, and you take him out. Yeah, from there, we're going to take the tower, and we're just going to farm now. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, because literally the next bit is just me speeding through this and killing everything, right? I farm the wave, I farm the camp, I bump into a Hoodwink here, who I thought I could solo kill, but unfortunately a Lesh he was definitely baiting for the Lesh. I went for a black hole play here, which was close. Unfortunately, the Eidolons died off, otherwise it might have worked. I also couldn't get the sack off last second there. I tried to use the Eidolons and kill him off, but it was close, right? We almost got the job done. You can see how powerful the Eidolons are. And as I mentioned before, like really you want to take a lot of risk in the early game once you've hit your item timings. Typically, I'm going to start taking a lot of risk and even looking for fights once I hit my mech timing. Now, as I said, I didn't go with this game. I went for drums. I like going drums when I'm snowballing because it allows you to solo kill people easier and take towers easier. And so if I think my game is super free, I'll buy drums. That's the only time. It's very rare. I was having a Giga game, so I picked up in like a 7-minute drums. You know what I mean? It's an exception. Then I pick up Hood. As I said, I'm going for the pipe, and Hood's kind of the mech here. It's a weaker item, I would say, overall, but the Leshrac walks up. I have no problem just casually black holing him and taking him out. I actually didn't even need my Batrider to tank the ulti there, but he tanks the ulti for me. Shout out Batrider. My man. But yeah, now we back away. We're extremely tanky, very fast. I even had Tumblr's Toy, which I didn't realize. But this fight's going to continue on, and Enigma's just so strong in these early fights. Malefice is such a long duration stun, and we're able to just kind of get back in, get off another max Malefice. We're level 11 at this point, which is insane. So we get another max Malefice off on the Ogre. He gets completely stuck. We pop our drums, and we win the fight. So now that we have our item completed, we're going to get active. This is kind of the first time I'll leave the lane. I'll sometimes rotate out and TP mid if they're diving mid tower and I have my mech. That's a situation where I'll very often TP around 9 to 10 minutes. This game, I complete my pipe around 1350, which is insanely early with the drums. But yeah, basically their Leshrac's diving bottom. Unfortunately, Dota's replay system sucks, so we can't see him, but the Leshrac is diving bottom. Here we go. So we can see the Leshrac, TP in, we're going to pop our pipe. Gonna allow the Slark to go in, pop the pipe, Lesh does no damage, and we take him out with a nice Malefice. From there, this is where things start to get interesting. We're gonna pick up our Shard. Now, what does Enigma Shard do? I actually think it's one of the best shards in the game. Like, really, it's genuinely insane. So it increases Malefice stun duration by 0.35 seconds. That in and of itself is insane, because it's 3 instances. Each one is increased by 0.35 seconds, meaning it's increased by over a second. Right? It's more than a second extra of stun. That's a ton, right? Most stun talents are not plus 1 second on the stun. They're usually plus 0.7, plus 0.5, something like that, right? Even talents typically don't give you that much. So it goes to show, I mean, it is extremely noticeable, the difference between a 1 second tick and a 1.35. People basically cannot move, right? They basically cannot move. It's straight up crazy. And every time they get stunned, an Eidolon will spawn. Now, the reason why this is good is you can stun creeps, and when you stun heroes, you get the Eidolon and you can farm. So not only is it good for just killing people, because when you stun a support, they're going to take a ton of damage from the 3 Eidolons that spawn on them. So it's just straight up good for killing people. Like, it just does a lot of damage. You just get an extra Eidolon every time, and these things hit really hard. And by the way, at level 10, I take 12 Eidolon attack speed. It actually used to be 20. Please bring that back, Val, please. It's 12 now. So you have a talent for it. I have the drums this game. You have Greaves to buff them up too. In a lot of games, I pipe to buff them up this match, so Lesh can't instantly kill them. But basically the point is that you have these buffed up Eidolons, which then get buffed up again at level 20 and then eventually 25 as well, but most importantly 20, which we'll get into some crazy timings later on. But we hit our 10 and now we can stun creeps. You're gonna see I actually just start stunning creeps. As I walk up to the wave here, I stun the range creep, and I do have to intentionally make these Eidolons not kill it because I want to get the 3 Eidolons. And when the Eidolons you get from the Malefice shard cannot multiply, that is the only downside, but still, it's 3 Eidolons. I mean, that is, how much do these hit for? 47? Right? It's still 120 damage autos just because you stun someone. I mean, supports don't have HP to tank that, and you'll see it in teamfights when it plays out. But look at this. Look how many Eidolons I have. Look at my Eidolons. Look at my Eidolons. This tier 2 is okay, no, I get ganked by Lesh. This was a good gank from them. That was a nice gank. I would have shredded their tier 2. I should have been aware they weren't showing mid or bottom. That was a nice play for them. That was actually a really, really bad death. Okay, this is a better example. So we see Protein Farts up in the top lane on his Underlord, and we're just going to wrap on him. I mean, to be fair, the Rubik shredded him. The Rubik had the stolen Underlord Q, but fight breaks out. I'm going to pipe up my guy here. Unfortunately, I had to walk away. Really, my main goal is to take the tier 2 and then take the outpost to kind of get map control. Unfortunately, my team was like, I don't know, they were like trolling the whole game this game. There's some shenanigans going on. But notice how when the Leshrac comes top, I assume he's going to leave. I assume he's not going to stay. And even if he does stay, I can solo kill him. Like, if he's not careful and he just runs down the lane, which if you're playing a 2K, 3K MMR pub, they will. There's a high chance they're just going to run down the lane. They have no idea if you can kill them or not. Like, I'm just being honest. They don't know. Most people at this bracket don't know. They definitely don't know where you are. I know that's, you get the point, just learn from it. So I keep running down the lane. It's for farm, and it's for the pressure on the map. I can at least get them to show so my carry can farm. We can team fight, obviously, if I want. You know, if my team called the team fight, I could TP in and we can go with our mech. But we're able to get the tier 2 pretty conveniently here, and it's just, as I said, really good for map control. Eventually, we can get this outpost, and the Leshrac TP's top. So he's not making plays, he's not farming as much as he would want to. It's just good for the game. It's good for me, it's good for my team, it's good for it's just good. Now, with this build, Black Hole is just not the priority. It's actually more about your stun. So you really want to kite out and play around your stun. So here I didn't know the Leshrac had BKB, so I kind of got caught off guard. I maybe could have black holed him earlier, but I popped the pipe, and so his Bloodstone actually does nothing for the first bit. And that's why I love the pipe so much. It really does prevent this Bloodstone from doing nearly as much. Now, unfortunately, he's still a completely overfarmed Leshrac, and we really don't have any damage here to kill him at the moment, so he ends up living the black hole, but I'm fine with that. I burn his BKB, and I'm okay with that trade. I know it sounds crazy, it seems insane, but I don't pick this hero around Black Hole. It is actually funny. So there's a Reddit clip. I played against Shopify recently, and I picked Enigma into Rubik. And there's a clip on Reddit about me like giving away Black Hole and Crit getting a 5-man Black Hole. It was a great play from Crit. But really, the thing is, I'm not even drafting this hero for Black Hole. It's good, it's a late game tool, it's obviously an important spell, and you don't want to give it away to a Rubik who is going to in turn Black Hole 5 of your teammates, 4 of your teammates, but at the end of the day, I'm happy with these semi-trades. The Aether Lens does help you use the Black Hole, but really more importantly, it helps you just spam this OP Malefice. It's a 4-second stun. Malefice is a 4-second stun, guys. 4 seconds! And it creates Eidolon, so you'll see, when I walk over, whoever I choose to stun is stuck. Look at this Underlord. I'm going to put in one time's perspective. Look at this Underlord's perspective. Okay, this guy is miserable when he gets stunned. And it's a low cooldown, and by the way, Octarine will make it better. It's a 14-second cooldown, it lasts for 4 seconds, so it's basically a 10-second downtime. It's nothing. You get 3 of them off in a team fight, in a long team fight. But we stun him, look at it, he can't move. Stun, stuck, stun. Like, he just gets stuck, and it makes it so easy for your team to set up. Marcy can set up on him, no problem, and the Malefice is coming back up, so even though I don't have Black Hole, it just doesn't matter. You're buying auras, and then you're playing around this really overpowered Malefice. And you might be like, oh, but why not just get really good Black Holes off? You're missing the point. It makes Malefice a much more deadly spell. Obviously, it's good without the shard, but it's much more deadly. As I said, 30% better. And on top of that, it makes everything else you do way better. For instance, this build, look at this tier 2. Look at this tier 2. It's dying. Their tier 2 is dying to Eidolons. And these things take the tower, tank the tower, and they tank the glyph as well. Right? This tower nearly just dies to just casual Eidolons. It's not even a long cooldown. And look, I just make a bajillion more because I stun the creep wave. By the way, I spam clarities. Like, I probably buy like 28 clarities this game. Maybe it's more like 16, but you get the point. I'm buying clarities like a madman, and I'm just shoving in lane after lane after lane after lane, right? Which is why my part of the reason why my net worth is so high. I've also taken multiple towers, and I have 7 kills, so you know it's definitely a mix. But now we're gonna go for the Octarine. And it's very easy to understand why Octarine. It's just lower cooldown on everything you want to do. And by the way, you get really tanky. At level 15, you get a 250 health talent, and then Octarine gives you like 500 health. You just get tanky. Like, it's really nice. You have all this, these ore items, the pipe, the greaves, whatever you decide to buy. You have this, and then you also just have a ton of health, and you're really hard to burst. Like, it's one of the nice things. The BKB Blink build, your HP pool isn't necessarily as high. And so when the BKB ends, you're a lot squishier, and you typically commit yourself in further, so you die much easier. And that's why I like this build so much. It's just different value. As look, the Underlord has to TP back. He sees Eidolons coming up, and if it's your average pub, they're not going to respond quick, and they're going to lose half their tier 3. They would have lost half their tier 3 if no one TP'd back. 100%. As now I just spawn even more Eidolons. The Eidolons are, I think, a 27 second cooldown. My stun is 10.5, which is obviously nothing, and we can just send Eidolons down the lane. You have to be a little bit good at micro, as we are going to take a team fight here, but you can see, while I'm running to the team fight, I'm going to send Eidolons here, right, and push this in. And now there's so much pressure on top side. Also, by the way, the Underlord TP'd top, so now he has to offensively use his ult to get in, which is not incredible for him. It's certainly not. So he has to use his ulti to get in. And now we're just going to look for an opportunity. I think I get a nice 3-man black hole here. Unfortunately, it did get flame break, but it is what it is. It's fine. And look, this is what I mean by me being tanky. This is what I mean. I'm so tanky. I have pipe, and look at this Lesh. He gets stunned. And I know, I was like, I'm not even going to die. I have a 10 wand, and he's going to get stunned for 4 seconds. He can't chase me. Like, he's trying, but look, he couldn't even get Lightning Storm off. That's how, it's nearly a perma-stun if you cannot dispel it. And he just gets stuck. My team eventually is able to connect back, and we take out the Lesh. Now, here's where things really start to get insane on the Eidolons. At this point, I've hit level 20, and you get plus 40 Eidolon damage. Eidolons naturally hit for 47, so it's nearly a doubling on the Eidolons. You have Octarine, I also got Quickening Charm, so now my Eidolons, instead of 27 second cooldown, are 24. The stun goes from, I think, 10.3 to 9.4. So now, I mean, their side lanes are a problem. They constantly have to deal with them, because these Eidolons, I mean, look at this. They rip the wave apart. Rip it apart. Right? Completely destroy it. And so if someone doesn't respond, which fortunately for them, Hoodwink does, but even if someone does respond, if they can't deal with it, the tower is just going to die. And by the way, this was like super not fresh Eidolons. I also didn't drums them and didn't pipe them. So it could even be better. My team wanted to look and check at Roche, so I didn't commit to the play. Also, I obviously didn't want to die, but this isn't, it is insane. Like, the amount of map pressure you put with this build is insane. Like, all you have to do is just stun creeps off cooldown and have some clarities. And part of the reason why I like Hex is it gives 9 mana regen. Really, the main reason why I like Hex this game is we don't have the best of blink stuns. We just don't. Like, Lasso is high committal. Lift is weird. It's like short duration and it's just awkward. Marcy W is not a blink stun. It's just not. So having like a really hard stun, which we just kind of don't have, like a long duration hard stun, is so nice. And it's with Octarine. It's a 15 second cooldown. 13.5 second cooldown Hex with Quickening Charm Octarine. 13.5. And it's 3.5 second Hex. It's a 10 second downtime. Wild. And now we can just continue to push in top with our bajillion Eidolons, force the pressure, and my team gets a pick off, right? Lush is cutting our wave. But now someone once again has to deal with top. Fortunately for them, they do. But as I said, in your average pub, if it's just not dealt with, it's not dealt with. The problem is I have a feeling a lot of people who are going to try this build won't get to this timing. They might not just know, they might not be buying enough clarities and farming enough, popping their mana boots off cooldown, and they're going to have mana problems. You got to solve your mana problems with the clarities and so on. But either way, fight breaks out bottom, we'll pop our Hex. I think I pipe up my Bat Rider here, and you know, as I said, I'm very happy to like just do these casual black holes to kind of burn out the Lesh BKB. I really want to put this guy in an awkward position, and with the Malefice now, he just, as I said, gets stuck. I know I keep saying this, but that's what it is. These people can't kite out. I mean, he's getting like chain 4 stats, but he'll still die. as we summon Eidolons to tank up the Eclipse, help out Slark a bit, as our Q is back off cooldown. Underlord tries to go through the portal, but he's just stun. And he dies as well. Another nice thing about the Hex is just dealing with backline jumpers. One of the ways to counter Blink BKB Enigma is to kind of jump him so he has to solo black hole you, which, you know, often you don't want to do. Obviously, it can be okay, but the Leshrac goes really deep here, and I just confidently black hole him. Because, as I said, part of the reason is I just simply don't see black hole as the main component of my hero. Honestly, best case scenario is a solo black hole that isolates a major core. And that's what happens here. We're able to just chain stun him down and burst him. I called for my team, by the way. If I'm in a black hole like that, I'm always saying, hey, come kill this guy. Or I'm like pinging. You know what I mean? It's going to be one or the other. As we end up finding the fight, Hex back up. Unfortunately, Hex doesn't cancel Underlord ult, which is kind of weird, but whatever. And yeah, at level 25, you get +5 conversion Eidolons, which brings it from 3 summons to 8. And if they split, you get 16. So, you can honestly throw in the enemy if they're not paying attention, because look at this damage. Look at this damage. Yes, I drums them there, but that's them not split, and that's only, is that even 8? That's not even 8, that's like 6 or 7. So, I know I'm stressing this, but this is why this build's so good. It's not that the Eidolons even do a lot in a team fight. It's just that they allow you to get to your next item, and to your next item, and to your next item, and put a heinous amount of map pressure. It's just too hard to deal with. This is one of the reasons why this hero is getting banned against Tundra. It's not as extreme as this I would say in pro games, because it's a little bit harder to hit certain timings and like people deal with the Eidolons better. But in pubs, I mean, you're a terrorist. You're just a complete terrorist. You always have to TP back to deal with these Eidolons. It's not a long cooldown. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm playing Beastmaster and I have to commit my Helm Dom 2 creep, which like I have to go get a new one from across the map if I want to refresh it. It's no committal. It at all, right? As we hit a black hole, it finished the game. I guess I accidentally skipped over my missed black holes, but, you know, accidentally. No, I actually don't know what happened. But, all right, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're inspired to try this out. You have to have some patience. The laning stage is really hard. Last hitting early on with this hero is hard. It requires a little bit of understanding of how to like use the Eidolons to help you last hit. But if you can get good at this hero, it's something else right now. I'm telling you, I actually think this is one of the best heroes in the game if you play at a high level. It's hard, that is your disclaimer, but if you want to have fun and have a high impact hero, Enigma is above and beyond at that. Thanks for watching, I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace!
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.